Previously we saw about the first topic, which is algae. So now we will see about bryophytes. So there are two subtopics under bryophytes, which are liverworts and mosses. So now we will see the general characteristics of bryophytes. So these bryophytes are also known as amphibians of plant kingdom.
Okay.
So generally what amphibians do, so they live both on soil as well as in water. They live on land as well as water. So here bryophytes is also called as amphibians of plant kingdom. It is because bryophytes also live both in land and water. So these bryophytes grows in moist and shaded areas, and also these grow in bare rocks. And these bryophytes generally they live in land and they need water for sexual reproduction. And these the plant body of these bryophytes are differentiated than algae. So algae is lower. Those have lower characteristics than bryophytes. So bryophytes have lots of more advanced characters. The thallus, like these plant body of bryophytes are thallus-like. Thallus means in the sense like it is just a structure. This is the land and this is the structure of these bryophytes. And they are attached to the water, attached to the ground with unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. Rhizoids is nothing but root-like structure.
So
Their root-like structure. Multicellular, these can be multicellular or unicellular. And these organisms lack true roots. They lack true roots. They lack true stems, and they lack true leaves. They do not have
roots, stem, leaves.
They do not have roots, true roots, stems and leaves. But they possess root-like and stem-like and leaf-like structures.
It is not true roots, but it is
they
something
can
like that.
something like that. Even rhizoids are root-like structures, but they are not
exact
true
roots.
roots. So like that. And the main plant body, for example, if we consider this thalloid structure, this main plant body is haploid, which is n number of chromosomes.
Okay.
This is haploid, and this is known as gametophyte.
That is known as
Gametophyte.
Okay.
So this one is known as gametophyte. This is known as gametophyte because it produces gametes, male or female gametes. So it produces male or female gamete. For example, if it is female gamete, it will be like in this structure, and if it is male gamete, it will be like this structure. So male gamete is also known as antheridium, and female gamete is known as archegonium.
So female gametes will be looking like this. Okay.
Which is grown on gametophyte.
Oh, which is grown on.
This thallus-like structure.
Okay. On top of it. Okay. So this is a male will be like that.
Yes. And this is also grown on gametophyte.
Grown on gametophyte.
These are the sex organs.
Okay.
And male is known as antheridium and female is known as archegonium.
Okay.
So this male produces biflagellate antherozoids. So these are biflagellates. And female produces a single egg. This female gamete produces a single egg.
Okay.
So these antherozoids need water to transport itself.
So reproduction needs water. So transport.
And goes and fuses with the egg, with a single egg.
Water, this antherozoids joins with the egg.
Egg. There is only single egg produced from a female gamete, archegonium.
Okay.
So after the fusion of these antherozoids, and a single egg, they fuse and become zygote.
Okay.
So initially the zygote does not undergo any division like meiosis. Meiosis is reduction division. They do not undergo any division. Instead they produce sporophyte. So this sporophyte is also attached to gametophyte. And this sporophyte, sometime later,
This sporophyte. Okay.
some of the sporophytes later undergo meiosis. They later undergo division and produce haploid spores, which spreads and germinate to produce gametophyte.
Okay. Can you explain once again so that the things will be getting more clear here? This
Here,
zygote.
okay. So here this is the main plant body,
Yeah.
which is known as gametophyte.
Yeah, that's clear.
Gametophyte, and this is sporophyte.
Yeah.
Gametophyte, sporophyte. So this gametophyte produces male and female gametes. So male is known as antheridium, female is known as archegonium.
Yeah.
Archegonium is
That is
female
having
gamete
single
having
egg.
single egg, and
This,
antheridium have biflagellate antherozoids.
Okay.
So these need water to transport itself
Yeah,
to come in contact with the single egg,
Yeah, that's clear.
and comes in contact with the single egg and forms zygote. Initially it does not divide. They form instead
Initially it is not divided.
divide
After some time.
initially they do not divide, and they fuse together and form sporophyte.
So it forms sporophyte. Okay.
So this structure is known as sporophyte, and this is gametophyte. Sporophyte is attached to gametophyte.
Okay.
So later some of the sporophytes undergo division, meiosis division,
Okay.
and produce haploid spores, and they travel and they grow into a new gametophyte again, new thalli.
Okay.
Germinate to produce a new gametophyte.
Haploid spores
Germinate to produce
gametophyte.
gametophyte.
Okay.
So there are two types of divisions of bryophytes, which is liverworts and mosses.
Okay. Now I understood. This is gametophyte.
Yes,
This is gametophyte.
because it produces gametes.
It produces gametes. Okay, fine. So this is sporophyte. This is gametophyte. Okay. After that reproduction. So those
Spores.
that spores again will become that gametophyte.
So now we'll see about separate divisions, that is liverworts and mosses. We'll discuss it separately.
So here in bryophytes again it has two different things, that is liverworts and mosses. What is that? Two divisions or what kind of that?
Two similar organisms. Liverworts are some organisms and mosses are some organisms.
Both are from bryophytes.
So far we have seen the general characteristics of bryophytes. So now we are going to see the first division under bryophytes, which is liverworts, and the second one is mosses. So first we'll see about liverworts. So these grow in moist and shady habitats. That is a general characteristic of all bryophytes. So these liverworts have a plant body made of thalloid.
So what is thalloid?
So thalloid is a structure called thalli, which we have generally seen in general characters. So it will be like this. So this structure is called as thalloid. So this thalloid, example of liverworts is one such example, which is Marchantia. So this thalloid is dorsiventral. So dorsiventral means it will be so dorsiventral is nothing but it is headed towards the ground. So the plant body is faces towards the ground. So that is what dorsiventral means, and it is attached closely to the substratum, is nothing but the ground. So asexual reproduction of these liverworts is through fragmentation of thalli. So each thalli separates and grows into a new organism, new liverwort, and or fragmentation by formation of gemmae. Gemmae are nothing but they are closely attached to rhizoids, like if these are the rhizoids, some kind of like cup-like structure. So these are known as gemmae. So these gemmae also it is also an asexual form. It separates from the plant and grows into a new organism.
This separates from here to here
and grows into a separate thalli.
It will form a separate thalli.
which
so
is
that is called,
asexual.
fragmentation is nothing but it is fragmentation, right?
Yes.
So a part is separated and it itself grows. That is asexual reproduction.
Yes. It also comes under vegetative reproduction also.
Yeah, that's what, because the fragmentation normally comes under vegetative reproduction, right?
So formation of gemmae. These gemmae are green, they are multicellular, and they are asexual buds generally because they are developed asexually. They are asexual buds, and these gemmae develops in gemmae cups. So this structure is called as gemmae cups, and inside that these gemmae form. And
so this is gemmae cup.
yes, yes, and these gemmae cups are formed on the thalli, and these separate and forms into a new plant body. So this is under asexual reproduction, and under sexual reproduction the male and female gametes produce on same or on different thalli. So already we have seen about the male gametes and female gametes in the
same as well as
same or different thalli. Male female both can form in the same thalli, or it can form separately on different thalli. So general characteristics, under general characteristics of bryophytes, we have already seen what are male and female are known. Male are known as anthrozoids and female are known as archegoniophore. And the sporophyte, this is gametophyte, and the sporophyte has three components which are foot, seta and capsule. Sporophyte also we have...
So seta like that?
Yes, foot, seta, capsule. Foot is like that, foot is a structure which is attached to the thalli, and seta is like this, grown on the thalli, and capsule, it has some capsule like structure, like this capsule. So this is generally after fertilization. Sporophyte generally develops after fertilization of male and female gamete and in initial stage of division. So this sporophyte develops on the gametophyte. It is attached to the gametophyte and produce spores. So these spores are produced inside the capsule.
So these are all spores.
Yes. So after meiosis, the spores are produced within the capsule and germinate to form a free living gametophyte.
Okay. So then it forms. So then again it forms a separate gametophyte.
Yes. So this is about liverworts. We are going to see about mosses. So firstly we saw about liverworts, and after that now we are coming to mosses. Here gametophyte of
so
mosses, these two things are coming under bryophytes. So gametophyte of mosses have two stages. First stage is protonema stage and second stage is leafy stage. So protonema stage, while a spore coming out from the capsule, the spore develops and forms protonema. The spore coming from the capsule of the spore is already present in the sporophyte of the thalli, and it comes and it develops into protonema stage. So it is a creeping green branched structure. This protonema is a creeping green branch structure. So this is first stage, and second stage is leafy stage. So here in leafy stage develops from secondary protonema as a lateral bud. So protonema is here.
So let me clear it actually. So this is a spore, maybe a capsule kind of structure.
Sporophyte having capsule.
Sporophyte having
capsule. Inside that capsule there are spores.
So you can assume that capsule, inside that
there are spores.
Spores are there. Okay.
So these spores separate into a new thalli.
Okay.
That spore develops into a protonema.
That spore develop into
protonema.
Okay.
So after the development of protonema, that is initial protonema. After some time it develops into secondary protonema.
Okay. So this is initial protonema.
And then it develops into secondary protonema.
Okay.
So from that secondary protonema there arises a lateral bud.
So that is leafy stage. Okay.
Develops from secondary protonema as a lateral bud.
Okay.
So this lateral bud is upright. It is a upright slender axis bearing spirally arranged leaves.
Okay.
It has spirally arranged leaves. So these leaves are attached to through rhizoids to the ground,
Okay.
and these bear sex organs. So this is like a gametophyte.
Okay.
So this bearing sex organs, and therefore capsule is inside the capsule there are spores again in this leafy stage.
Okay.
So this is two stages of gametophyte. This is the first stage and this is the second stage. And then coming to the reproduction, so first one we are going to discuss about vegetative reproduction.
Okay.
So vegetative reproduction is through fragmentation of the thalli
Okay.
and budding in the secondary protonema.
Okay.
So in the secondary protonema there are also buds.
So this secondary protonema we are discussing only in the mosses, not
Yes,
in the
not in
previous-
yes. So that is why they have classified liverworts and mosses separately.
Okay.
So it also reproduces vegetatively by budding in secondary protonema. It also secondary protonema produces buds. That is what we have seen lateral
That
buds.
is a leafy kind of
yes.
thing.
This is vegetative reproduction, and then sexual reproduction is through production of sex organs, which is antherozoids and archegoniophores are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. So these leafy shoots.
Leafy shoots.
Yes, this leafy stage, the
Okay.
apex of the leafy shoots, they produce sex organs. It is produced. Archegoniophore and the antheridiophore are produced. So after fertilization, they form zygote.
Okay.
This zygote is the sporophyte of the plant and is attached to the gametophyte, which is the leafy stage. So this sporophyte is more elaborate than liverworts.
Okay.
So this sporophyte also are again differentiated into foot, seta and capsule.
Seta
And capsule, that
Same
capsule
thing, same
yes,
thing
yes,
like, yeah?
yes,
Huh?
yes,
Okay.
capsule. So here, that is what about here, about mosses. So in mosses, the only difference, it has two different stages of gametophyte, which is protonema stage and leafy stage. Whereas in liverworts, that not occurs.
That is only one
Yes.
thing for the gametophyte, where here gametophyte has
Two stages.
Two stages. So that is the main difference between that.
But the sex organs are developed in leafy stage.
Okay. That is in the second part of the protonema.
Second cycle. So the examples of mosses are Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. This sphagnum has special economical importance. So this sphagnum produces a pea,
Okay.
which is a kind of long bean. So used as fuel. It is used as fuel and packaging materials for transshipment and having capacity to hold water without leakage. So this sphagnum is used for that one.
So
And
are we using that this?
yeah, it is used as fuel
Commercial
and
purpose
yes,
they are
yes,
using it.
commercial purpose. And these mosses are also, it can also form dense mats on soil and reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion.
Okay.
So it does not leave the
So
rain to
form
go
a dense mat
on the soil, and
so that,
the rain cannot penetrate inside the soil,
inside the soil.
and therefore soil erosion does not take
Okay.
place. So these mosses have a greater importance than liverworts. So these mosses are very, very important. All those sphagnum and these soil erosion is prevented, right? So it is having a greater importance than liverworts.
Because it has a leafy kind of a thing. Because of that, it has more helpful to us. The organism is more helpful to us. Actually.
So this is about mosses, liverworts, and all about bryophytes.
Okay.
So next we will discuss about pteridophytes.
Fine.
So now we are going to see about pteridophytes, which is the third topic. So here pteridophytes includes horsetails and ferns, and used for medicinal purposes and as soil binders, and also as ornamentals. So these are the first terrestrial plants to have vascular bundles like xylem and phloem. So they conduct water and food. So these plants are first with these characteristics, and they live in cool and dampy places. So the main plant body in pteridophytes is sporophyte, whereas in bryophytes the main plant body was gametophyte.
Okay, that is gametophyte, wherein here it is sporophyte. Okay. So these pteridophytes mainly they are using for medicinal purposes. Okay.
Yes.
Horse cells and ferns, what is that?
There are these are examples of pteridophytes. Examples
these are
means
examples.
fern like trees, ferns are some organisms.
Okay. So these are first terrestrial plants.
First terrestrial plants to have vascular bundles.
Vascular bundles. Okay, before that nothing like that. Xylem and
So these had xylem and phloem. So before bryophytes did not had xylem and phloem.
okay. So it's available in cool and
Dampy places.
Okay. Sporophyte. Okay.
So here main plant body is sporophyte, whereas in bryophytes it was gametophyte. So these have true stems, roots and leaves.
Somewhere we have discussed about
They did not
true
have
roots, which one
bryophytes.
is bryophytes. Wherein here pteridophytes having
true roots, stems and
stem
leaves.
and leaves. Okay.
So these leaves can be small as in Selaginella and can be large as in ferns.
So this is one type.
It is an example.
Example.
So now sporophytes, these sporophyte bear sporangia.
Sporangia. Okay.
It has sporangia. And these sporangia are subtended by sporophylls. Sporangia is holded by sporophylls.
Okay.
And these sporophylls can be strobili or cones. It can be cone-like structure or strobili-like structure.
Strobili cones. I'm not getting it. Can you explain again?
So these sporophyte bear sporangia.
Sporophyte bears
Sporangia. These
Okay.
sporangia are subtended by sporophylls.
Substandard by
Sporophylls.
Okay.
Sporophylls are catching the sporangia, and these sporangia is attached to sporophyte.
Okay.
So these sporophylls can be strobili or cones. It can be like structure. It has structure like that.
What is strobili? How is
Strobili is a structure which is surrounded like something like this. It is a structure of that sporophylls which bears sporangia.
What cones is normal cone. Okay.
So sporangia produce spores. So these spores germinate to give rise to free living gametophyte, which is known as thallus, prothallus.
So this normally we are saying thallus. This is gametophyte. Gametophyte. Okay. Then what is this? Prothallus.
Yes.
Okay.
So this one is photosynthetic.
Okay.
So these live in conditions like cool, dampy places
Cool,
and needs water for
dampy
fertilization.
places needs H2O.
Water for fertilization.
Okay.
So after fertilization they form zygote, male and female gamete. After fertilization they form zygote,
Okay.
and this fertilization takes place within the egg which is present in archegonium.
Okay.
And zygote, after zygote thereafter produces a sporophyte after
Zygote
division.
produces
Sporophyte.
Okay.
And these sporophyte can be in these sporophyte the spores are developed. The spores can be homosporous or heterosporous. Homosporous means the spores which are similar, and heterosporous means the spores which are non-similar. These are different.
Yeah, how it is in bryophytes?
In bryophytes only spores are present.
No, there we have seen so many things. Homosporous, heterosporous and
Heterosporous.
zoosporous and all we have seen, zoosporous kind of a thing.
Only zoospores, not homosporous and heterosporous. Zoospores are motile.
Okay, only zoospores from the sporophyte.
Yes, in bryophytes.
In bryophytes. Here the sporophyte has homosporous.
Sporophytes have spores. Those spores are homosporous, and it also can be heterosporous.
That spores homosporous and heterosporous.
Heterosporous.
What is this?
So that female gamete archegonium can be retained for many periods in sporophyte.
Okay, that gamete retained for the variable periods.
So this is about pteridophytes. So now we'll see the examples of pteridophytes. So pteridophytes are of 4 classes: Coelopsida, Lycopsida, Sphenopsida and Pteropsida.
So pteridophytes again having 4 classes. Okay.
So in Coelopsida, the example is Coelotum, and Lycopsida, Selaginella and Lycopodium are examples of Lycopsida. Equisitum is example of Sphenopsida, and Rhiopteris, Pteris and Ediatum is an example of Pteropsida.
Anything specific to this kind of any characteristics of these classes?
No. Selaginella have smaller leaves.
It has smaller leaves. Any other thing?
They have not mentioned.
They have not mentioned anything specific. But mainly these plants or the organisms mainly used for medicinal purposes.
So now we'll see about gymnosperms.
Okay.
So now we're going to see the 4th topic, which is gymnosperms. So in gymnosperms, these ovules are not covered by ovary walls. Ovules are generally seeds. So now we'll see the 4th topic in plant kingdom, which is gymnosperms. So in gymnosperms, the ovules are not enclosed by ovary walls. Ovules are generally seeds, and ovary walls are generally the surrounding walls of seeds. So these seeds are not surrounded by ovary walls. So therefore,
ovules are the seeds. So those seeds.
They develop into seeds.
Okay.
Initially they are ovules and they develop into seeds.
Seeds. So it is not having any
wall surrounding it.
Okay.
The surrounding ovary wall is known as a fruit, the outer layer of fruit. Inside that the seeds.
Okay.
So therefore the seeds are not covered and are seen nakedly.
Okay. These gymnosperms initially it won't have an ovary wall.
And after development,
so it will form. That's a fruit.
No fruit, because only seeds are available. No ovary wall is there.
Okay.
So these includes all medium-sized trees, tall trees and shrubs and everything. So here the tallest tree species is redwood tree.
This is the tallest tree. Okay.
Which is also known as sequoia. And these trees have tap roots in them. Tap roots means it is like this one. The branch like this one.
Okay.
So these are tap roots. And some of the roots have fungal association in it of these gymnosperms. So these fungal, in gymnosperms, their roots will be occupied by fungi. So that association is called as mycorrhiza. It is found in pinus plants. So that association is called mycorrhiza. And in some cycas, the roots are covered by the roots are
so
called
these
as
are
corolla.
Examples.
In cycas is an example, and pinus is also is an example.
Okay.
So in cycas, the roots are called as corolloid roots because it is covered by cyanobacteria, which is nitrogen fixing.
Okay, nitrogen fixing.
So here in pinus it is mycorrhiza. So pinus it is mycorrhizal association, and in cycas it is with the cyanobacteria.
So here two types of roots are there. One is tap roots, that is here.
Tap roots is generally all trees and plants have tap roots.
But this cycas has different root.
Because it is associated with cyanobacteria.
Okay, that's why the roots are different.
The roots are called corolloid roots.
Okay.
And the stem are two kinds, which is branched and
so both branched as well as unbranched stems are there. Okay.
In branched, the examples are pinus and citrus, and if it is unbranched, the example is cycas.
So this is unbranched. Okay.
And coming to the leaves, in leaves there are many kinds of leaves like simple, compound and etc. Simple leaves and compound leaves.
Okay.
So these cycas has pinnate kind of leaves, which are generally seen like in neem plants. Neem plants, the leaves are associated like pinnate like structure, like so this is pinnate. So in neem plants this is found. So like this, Cycas plants have pinnate kind of leaves. And these leaves can withstand extreme temperature, humidity and extreme conditions.
Which leaves?
Generally all the
All
leaves
the
of
leaves.
gymnosperms.
Oh, all the leaves of gymnosperms, okay.
And the leaves of
So
conifers,
extreme temperature,
humidity.
okay, withstand.
And the leaf of conifers are species,
Conifers
are
so
plant
another
species.
type,
Another
like
type.
cycas. So conifers,
Have needle-like leaves.
okay.
Needle-like leaves and they with thick cuticle. Cuticle is that covering of that leaf. Thick cuticle.
This is cover, huh?
Covering of the leaf, outer covering of the leaf. And have sunken stomata. So these stomata reduces the water loss. Due to thick cuticle on it, the sun rays cannot, the temperature cannot absorb a lot of water. So it reduces water loss from the plants. And then the spores of these species are, these gymnosperms are haploid spores, which are microsporous or megasporous. It can be male or female spores. Microsporous, megasporous, it can be small as well as large. And it is produced in sporangia.
So here heterosporous. In previous we have seen
Both homosporous and heterosporous.
and heterosporous, but here in gymnosperms only
heterosporous.
No homosporous.
So these spores are haploid and produced within sporangia, as seen later, as seen in pteridophytes also. These are produced in sporangia, and these sporangia are bound on sporophylls, and these are arranged like cones or strobili like thing, as we seen in pteridophytes.
Cones, I remember, because cones and another type also you said.
Strobili.
Strobili.
So this is some of the characteristics of gymnosperms, and we'll discuss more about gymnosperms. So now we are going to see about some more characteristics of gymnosperms. So the first one is, so first we are going to see about microspores. So microspores, we have seen both are produced, microspores and megaspores. So microspores are produced in male gametophyte. Microspores is also known as male gametophyte. So these are limited in number.
So microspores are called as male gametophyte. So what is female gametophyte?
Megaspores.
Oh, microspore for male gametophyte, megaspore female gametophyte.
So these microspores are limited in number of cells, and these develops and produce pollen grains.
Okay.
So these pollen grains are retained within the microsporangia, which is the sporangia, and this is about the male gametophyte. So male gametophyte is pollen grains generally. Microspores produce pollen grains.
Pollen grains. Okay.
And then megaspores, now we are going to see about megasporangia. So megasporangia is female gametophyte. So these are also known as megasporangiate or female strobili, or and these are retained in megasporangium. And the male and female cones, the cones are nothing but the male and female microspores and megaspores. The cones have spores, right? In cones there is sporangiophil. There is sporophyll, and the sporophyll contains sporangia, and that sporangia produces spores. So if male and female cones both are produced in the same tree, it is known both male and female cones are produced on the same tree or on different tree also. So pinus is an example of same tree.
So here in pinus, both male
and female gametophyte is produced.
Both together. Pinus.
And in cycas only one type, either male or female cones are produced.
Okay. Either male or
a female. Then megaspore mother cell is.
This is MMC's
megaspore mother cell. So here it is differentiated from one of the cells of the nucellus. Nucellus is nothing but the surrounding cells of the ovule. Ovule is nothing but seed.
Okay, surrounding cells. Okay.
So nucellus is
Nucellus. Okay. Protected by envelope.
Megaspore mother cell. So megaspore mother cell is nothing but the cells of female gametophyte, which produce ovule. So these are these megaspore mother cells form from one of the cells of nucellus. So nucellus are the surrounding cells which form the megaspore mother cell forms from the nucellus, one of the cells of the nucellus. And
what is the use of that?
Which one?
MMC.
Megaspore mother cells. It produces ovule.
Okay.
So the whole structure along with the nucellus and the surrounding cells is known as ovule.
Okay.
And these ovules are known as megasporophylls, which is a female gametophyte. And these megasporophylls undergo division and produce 4 megaspores.
So the megasporophytes produce 4 megaspores.
4 megaspores. And in this 4 megaspores,
why it is only 4 megapixels? Why don't be 8, 9, 8, 16, 2 like that?
when it divides, it becomes 4. One division results in 4 under the meiosis division, meiosis reduction.
Okay.
One cell becomes 4 cells.
One cell becomes 4 cells. Okay.
So in this 4 cells, one cell is enclosed within megasporangium. That is, only one cell is enclosed with nucellus.
Only one cell?
Only one cell.
Okay.
Is enclosed with nucellus, and it develops into 2 or more archegonia. Archegonia is that male gametophyte. So these archegonia are the archegonia and female are male and female are retained in the sporangia itself, and mainly the female is retained in the sporangia itself, and the male spores are released and traveled through air, and
because this female is megasporangia, that's why it is retained there itself. The male
microsporangium are released and
through air that's
the pollen grains are released from the microsporangium, and these are carried by the air currents and come in contact with the ovules, which are that come in contact with the archegonia and develops into zygote. So the now after the pollen grain releases a structure called pollen tube. In that gametes are placed in that pollen tube, and that come in contact with the ovules, and they discharge the male gametes, and it develops into zygote.
Okay.
So zygote develops into embryo, and ovules develops into seed.
Ovules develop into seeds.
So there is no here there is no ovary wall. Therefore, there is no fruit. Only seeds are available.
Only seeds are available. Oh, because are not available on the ovary wall. So it is only seeds available in gymnosperms. All gymnosperms won't produce fruits. Okay. Because not having the ovary wall.
So therefore, the seeds are also not covered. These are naked seeds.
Naked seeds.
So this is about gymnosperms. So next we will see about angiosperms.
Okay.
So now we will see about angiosperms, which is the fifth topic under plant kingdom. So in angiosperms, the pollen grains, these pollen grains and ovules are developed in specialized structures called flowers.
So flower only here, angiosperms.
Angiosperms are only
flowers.
having flowers.
Okay.
These include the most of the organisms which we see in our near environment. All the tall trees and all the plants are angiosperms. So here seeds are enclosed by fruits.
It has
fruit.
wall. Okay.
And these include tiny ranges and tall ranges of trees. So tiny plants are Wolffia.
So that is a tiny plant.
Yes.
Wolffia.
And tall trees is eucalyptus, which is reach up to a height of 100 meters.
100 meters.
And these angiosperms have 2 kinds of divisions in it, which is dicot and monocot plants, dicotyledonous and monocotledonous plants. So these cotyledons are grown in seeds, which are grown in ovules, and these again separate from the plants and grow into a new plant. And then the male sex organs of angiosperms are in flowers, which are stamen, and the tip of the stamen there are anthers. So these anther by division they form pollen grains, and the female anther pollen grains, and the female sex organs is pistil. Pistil is nothing but the ovary, and inside the ovary there are ovules. So this ovary encloses 1, 2, 3 and many ovules in it. So here these ovules are highly reduced female gametophyte termed as embryo sacs. It also has a highly reduced gametophyte which is known as embryo sac.
Reduced gametophyte in the sense is very small.
Very small.
Okay. This embryo sac.
Embryo sac. In this embryo sac there are many components
So
like
gametophyte and embryo sac, they both are same.
Female gametophyte. It includes all the female. These all includes female gametophyte.
Okay. Inside that embryo sac. What is it? Female gametophyte, right?
Female sex organs are pistil,
Pistil, okay.
ovary,
Okay.
ovules.
Okay.
In that the ovules are female gametophyte.
Ovules are female gametophytes. Okay.
Especially
That is
the egg cell. Embryo sac is inside that ovules.
Inside that ovules.
Ovules.
Okay.
So inside the embryo sac there are 4 components. So one is egg cell.
One egg cell.
One egg cell.
Okay.
2 synergids.
What is this synergis?
Synergids, if this is the embryo sac, here if this is the egg cell, and these are the synergids.
Okay.
And here 2 polar nuclei are present, and here 3 antipodal cells. So this is embryo sac.
Oh, this is embryo cell. Okay. Inside that, one egg cell.
One egg cell.
This is one egg cell. Okay.
2 synergids.
Oh, this is one egg cell. Okay.
2 synergids.
These two are
Synergids.
Synergids. Okay.
2 polar nuclei.
This is polar nuclei.
Yes.
Okay.
And these are 3 antipodal cells.
These are antipodal.
Antipodal cells. So now
This
after.
is embryo cell. Okay.
So now after the release of pollen grains from the male sex organs, so the pollen grains are released, and so here this is the ovary, this is the embryo sac which is ovule, and this ovule is present in ovary. So altogether it forms, and this is the pistil-like structure. Pistil, and these are the petals.
Okay.
So here pollen grains reaches to the top of the pistil.
So pollen grains reaches top
of
and
the
comes
pistil.
inside. Okay.
Comes inside. So here a kind of structure called stigma. So the pollen grains sticks into the stigma and moves into the pistil. And here it develops a pollen tube. If this is the pollen grain, it develops a tube-like structure called pollen tube. And the 2 cells, the 2 male gametes, are inside the pollen tube.
So it will be like this, pollen tube. This is pollen tube.
Like this.
Okay.
So one male gamete and another male gamete. The male gametes divide and become one male gamete and another male gamete. So like this, they enter the pistil and comes to the synergid, and synergid makes the way to reach the egg cell.
Oh, it reaches here.
It reaches egg cell. So in egg cell, one of the male gamete fuses with the egg cell.
So one
male gamete
fuses with the egg cell. Okay.
And becomes zygote.
Then it becomes
Zygote.
Okay.
And another male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei.
So one is fusing with the egg cell, and
Another-
another one is fusing with
2 polar nuclei.
2 polar nuclei. Okay.
So here it becomes 2n. 2n means 2 chromosomes. Already the n number of chromosomes plus n number of chromosomes become 2n number of chromosomes. And here, so it is also known as diploid. It is diploid. Diploid means 2n. And here, since this is also n, and this n all together, it becomes 3n.
I'm not getting it actually.
N number of chromosomes in this cell. N number of chromosomes
in this cell. N number of chromosomes available here. And here also
2n number of chromosomes.
2n. Okay.
So here 2n plus n becomes 3n number of chromosomes.
Now it becomes 3n. Okay.
So it is known as triploid.
Triploid. Okay.
Since
so this is diploid and this is triploid.
Triploid.
So which?
So this becomes endosperm.
Okay.
That one is zygote and this becomes endosperm.
This becomes endosperm.
And this endosperm provides nutrition to the developing zygote.
Okay.
So here, since the
this gives nutrition to the zygote after development. This gives nutrition to
during development.
During development. Okay.
So since here two fertilizations, one male gamete fertilizes with the egg cell.
That is zygote forming zygote, and another one is
male gamete fuses with the dipolar nuclei, forms endosperm. Since two fertilizations takes place here, it is known as double fertilization.
Oh, that's why they call it as double fertilization. Okay.
So this is generally about angiosperms. So after some time, these ovules nothing but these zygote develops into seeds.
Okay.
And the outer covering of the ovary wall, this ovary wall develops fruit. Develops into
this
fruit.
Develops fruit.
And those develops into seeds.
But it is
developing into seeds.
So this is how, if we see the fruit, maybe mango and all, that inside seed is developed by this one. The outer, the entire fruit, that fruit
is developed by the ovule.
Okay.
Ovary wall.
Ovary wall.
So this is about angiosperms. So generally, sporophyte, which is developed from the spore, it is the sporophyte is haplotic, which contains n number of chromosomes.
Sporophyte, it contains n number of chromosomes. That's fine. Then
from sporophyte, gametophyte comes.
Yes.
So gametophyte fuses with another cell, which is, if this gametophyte is female gametophyte, it fuses with the male gametophyte and becomes 2n number of nucleus, 2n number of chromosomes.
Okay.
So this one is haploid and this one is diploid.
So 2n is diploid. If it is 3n, that is triploid.
Yes, triploid. So the life cycle of this one is known as haplontic.
Oh, life cycle of this
one
is
haplontic, and this one is known as diplontic.
Diplontic. Okay.
And both of this together is known as haplodiplontic.
Okay.
So here, so the example of haplontic, which is the n number of chromosomes are present.
So n number of chromosomes. Okay.
So the examples of these are many algae.
Okay.
So example, volvox, Spirogyra, and Chlamydomonas.
Okay.
So many algae are example of all the, generally most of the algae are examples of haplontic. And in diplotic kind of life cycle, all seed bearing plants are diploid, has 2n number of chromosomes in it. So seed gymnosperms and angiosperms both have seed in it. So all seed bearing plants are diplontic. Okay. And an exceptional case in diplontic is only one algae is present in diplontic, which is fucus.
Okay.
Which has 2n number of chromosomes and which is diplontic.
Oh, only one exception. Algae, yes. All are there in diploids.
And only one algae is here.
Fucus.
Yes.
Okay.
And there are 3 algae which are haplodiplontic: Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia, and Kelps. These have 2 life cycles, that is 2n number of chromosomes and n number of chromosomes, which is haploid and diploid.
So this both has.
This 3: Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia,
and 2n.
2n kind of life cycle.
Life cycle.
So this is generally about a life cycle of plants.
So all these 3 are algae.
Yes. So please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon which is nearby to it. And if you have any doubts regarding this session, please give it in the comment section. and follow our channel regularly for more videos.
Thank you.
Thank you.